Thank you for attending the Week of Kindness. Coming up next is another powerful, impactful, amazing speaker. Get your notepad out, get your pen. Let's get ready and enjoy. Tony, we're live. It's the last one, Tony. For 4 days we've been together.
Oh, now the end is near, and so we face the final curtain. But not without bringing up the girl who's helped me start it all.
Oh my God.
Linda, Cain, and I dreamt this monster up, put it together, and she was helping me host and co-host and audition and interpret and interview and it's like and I think she decided, okay, I'm not going to play that hard next year. But no, listen, Linda's middle name is Events. It's Blue Diamond, and that's what she's been doing for years. So guys, if you're really ready to go beyond a virtual stage and do a live stage, I've seen this girl create, I've seen them sell $1 million in 3 days or more. And Linda is that's how we met. It was like every event that I would go to when I first started this journey, Linda was in charge and Linda was in charge. And so, hey, you stick with the good stuff, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, without further ado, I'm going to bring up Ms. Linda Cain. You ladies have a great time.
Thank you. Hey, Linda.
Hey, Tony. Wow.
Back in the saddle, kiddo. Back in the saddle.
So is this the fifth one? Is this the fifth week of kindness?
This is the fifth week of kindness.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the first one and the second one and the third one? I think after the third one, you were like, "Oh my God!"
The third one was a killer. I'll tell you. For people out there listening to this, and we're here to talk about events and having people create their own stages, and which is I love to do. I love events. I love that you said my middle name was Events. That's pretty funny. Linda Events Cain. I like that. But the first one was we were playing around on another platform and getting to figure it out and quickly realizing that it didn't do enough that we wanted it to do. The second one came along and we're like, okay, we think we've got this and then we got into we got into the world of people not returning emails, not returning calls, not showing up for the interviews. So then out of that, number 2 was the lesson of, an application, make sure people are more qualified, where are they coming from,
actually just do casting, right?
Yes.
That's where we picked the categories and we said this person goes in this one and this is where they should be, because people who are looking for those types of speakers are going to distinguish which ones they want and select the category. That helped a lot.
Yeah, it did. And then the third one it sort of crashed and burned.
That's because the whole world crashed and burned. That was 2020.
2020. Yeah. But we had good audience. We had good presentations. We got through it. It was a little harder to do. And then the fourth one last time was amazing. It was really, really good. But I'm so glad that Lisa came along at the right time and teamed up with you, because we were going through Genesis cancer. We were going through all of the health things with him. I was going through stuff myself, and my mom turned 92 this year, an older parent having children older, and so she had children later in life, so she's older, and just having to deal with all of that, I really just didn't have the bandwidth to we were serving clients and all of that going on. Sometimes you just have to stay. It's okay. Step back and support from behind the scenes.
Exactly.
And support by, bringing you speakers and things like that. And I was so grateful and glad that Lisa came aboard. And you know what, it's kind of symbolic what we went through to come to number 5 and turn it over to somebody who had the YouTube channel, who had Raptor platform and other
Yeah.
things in place, right? Which really is amazing. And it kind of proves my point on the event journey, because when when speakers, authors, coaches, and entrepreneurs are wanting to incorporate events into their marketing strategy and have events be part of what they're doing every year, that first one, you're excited, it goes good, but it's just not like the best, the best. The second one is where you grow and stretch, and maybe you have, you get the sales that you want and things like that. The third one, usually typically, is the burnout one. It's the weirdest thing. But I was thinking about this as I was preparing to talk to you, because when I look at the client's journey, that third one's a little tougher because there's an anticipation to make, to make more money. You're in the third year of it. That's about the time that you pivot your offer, you pivot your coaching. People that you've been working with, they kind of matriculate in and out. Your audience changes a little bit on the third event. And it's just really interesting. So to be with this journey with you and to watch that and watch what our clients go through, you just have to keep persevering through. And the thing about events is that what I love about creating your event driven business is you can start off with just doing retreats. You can start off with doing small workshops and seminars, or you can just go full out and do a 3-day enrollment event. But what I love is that all roads eventually lead to those higher revenues, whichever path
Yes.
the client chooses. So we have clients that are doing only retreats all year. We have clients that are only doing master classes and workshops. We have clients that are only doing high-end retreats and masterminds. We have clients that are doing a combination of a 3-day enrollment event followed by a couple fulfillment retreat type events, and then they sprinkle master classes, challenges, and workshops in and among that. But the key thing is to make sure that everything you do is driving the revenue, driving the audience to those enrollments and to that enrollment event. If you're
And that makes so much sense, Linda. So guys, basically, one of the things that we do teach our next level folks and our founders club members. So we have 2 levels, but the next level folks are the ones we really take care of, because they're the ones that have truly invested in themselves to try to figure this out with the help of mentors.
Mhm.
So what we do is we bring in experts like Linda, we bring in experts like the TED Talk people, we bring in experts about publicity and advertising, and every month we bring in experts. And since we have a kind of our pulse on what's happening, we're always watching out for what new is happening, which is how we met Eric Zuley
Yeah.
with Easy Way, as you're starting to see what's picking, what's trending, I guess is the best way to say it, because the entire speaking world is very fluid.
Yes.
And yes, there's some staple items you've got to have. Number one, who are you pleasing? Who are you taking care of? Number two, your offer, which Linda is a master at creating offers, by the way. But you've been involved with them so long. I mean, you've worked with some pretty big names, Linda.
I know, it's been really wild. This June is we end our 20th year. So this is 20 years of Blue Diamond this year, and it seems kind of surreal. And I'm super excited about what's happening ahead. We have our educational arm that we're going to be launching. We have I'm doing more speaking and training. We have our clients where we're really focusing on those high-end retreats, and we've got that process really streamlined and nailed down, and really been able to help our clients up level what they're doing on their back end for fulfillment. And then our 3-day enrollment programs, whether they're virtual or whether they're live, we're having just amazing results with clients, just working those and putting that in process. And, events still are the number one way to drive quick revenue. You can do online marketing programs, products, content, and all of that is great to have. But if you're a coach or somebody that's out there just kind of starting, especially creating your own stage, creating a place where your people can come and hear you talk and enroll them into your program is still the quickest way to drive revenue into your business. And then from there, you can just build and grow and, do other things. And if you're a seasoned coach, it's equally, it's funny because this year, I have 4 clients coming back. They kind of took last year off. They tried other things. They went to digital marketing land. They were working on their content. They wrote a book, they were out speaking. They did different things. And they're all like, okay, we're ready to do a live again this year. And I'm like,
love it.
yes,
I love it. I'll
it.
never forget that one night you called me back and said, I just lost like 13 contracts, like overnight.
That was
March of 2020. Yeah.
Oh.
And the conversation we had was, okay, now what do? We take it all online. And you were right there. You were like the first. It's like, okay, everybody's doing hybrids. And then it wasn't hybrid because nobody could leave their home.
Right.
And then we went completely virtual, and people were afraid of it. I mean, even our folks in Australia, they were afraid of it, and they did great.
Oh, that was a crazy week. So people, if you're listening to this, take it from me. Because we're international and we have clients all over the world that we work with, I do not recommend, no matter how tough you are, no matter how strong your team is, no matter how like we got this that you are, take it from me, do not book a Pacific time day event along with an Australian nighttime event and run them with 2 hours of sleep in between. It was crazy, but you know what?
It was. We were
crazy.
Up. Yeah, I mean, I felt like it's funny. My sister loved the graveyard shift because she was a microbiologist.
Yeah.
And so, and I tell people I was in computers, she was in microbiology. The only thing we had in common was the virus. Hers had little legs, mine had big legs and went into your computer system. But she loved working overnight, the graveyard shift. That was her thing. And with me, when I did it with you for that week, I was dying.
You were dead, yeah. But you know what? I would, I all joking aside, I would not do 2 back-to-backs like that in the same 24-hour period. If I wouldn't say that I wouldn't do it. I would do it, but I would do it entirely differently.
Yeah.
We learned.
You
learn and have completely 2 different teams. But the point of it is that what I love about the virtual space is, and I want people to really hear this, is for entrepreneurs who, you get a bigger audience, you get to expand out, you expand your reach. But the point of it is that you can do an event overseas. You just switch your hours for the week.
Yeah.
And you can meet clients where they're at and have an amazing event, make money, serve people, build your credibility, build your expertise. You can do some amazing fun things, and have an experiential experience in the virtual space as well. And that's what we did for that one client in Australia, because he's still going strong. He's having a great time. And he took our advice and he hired an in-house person to work with him. So, and I still do a little bit of consult on that project, which is a lot of fun. But don't be afraid of, expanding out because you're afraid, I don't want to go to international because then I'll have this mix of people. You can make it work really well.
Oh, I absolutely say, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, who's it? Stacy. Thank you.
Stacey. Depending on how how you're setting it up. And so we've got a client that does overseas, and it's great because every quarter he does his one event for the tailored to the UK people that he serves.
Yes. Yes.
And then he does another time, the next time he does the US base, and then back to Europe, back to US, back to Europe. And it works out really well. And he adjusts his time schedule as the host delivering to meet them. And what's been fun is it's kind of like welcome when he's on the UK. It's like, welcome all our night owls in the US who joined us tonight and aren't sleeping along with me. And then when he does the US based one, it's like, well, listen to all you little early birds out there joining us. So you can have so much fun with it. But But the message here this evening is create your own stage, because
Yeah.
a lot of times it's people want you to pay to play to get on a stage, which means you have to give some money up front to get on a
Sure.
stage. Sometimes you're not even sure that the speaking engagement that you're doing really has the right audience for you, because audiences change, especially now in the virtual space where people sign up and you have 300 people sign up, but only 110 show up. So, you're not really sure sometimes who's actually going to be in this space. So by creating your own stage and commanding your own stage, you're commanding your own audience and drawing in that right avatar, your right audience. Even if you have a small 30 to 50 person event, you will have a 6-figure weekend if it's done correctly and done right.
That's the key right there, Linda.
Clients are doing it over and over and
Yeah.
over, and they're really having a great experience with it. And you can hybrid it by going into a studio and broadcasting from a studio, or like we've done, we've gone into a hotel room or a suite or our client's home and set
Yep.
up a
I
studio
remember
for
that was
them.
wonderful art. Yeah, art
Yeah,
guys.
it was awesome.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
awesome.
we were on the online space and Linda's in his living room.
Mhm. Yeah. And that's really nice because they have the comfortability of being in their home. They can stand up, sit down, do those kinds of things. The other thing is that, um, and if you do a true hybrid where you are going to have an audience with you, but also streaming out to a virtual audience, the key there to make that successful is to keep in your mind that you're running 2 events.
Yeah.
You have an online event and an in-person event.
True.
So it's a little more complicated. It can be a little bit more expensive depending on how you're doing it. But the beauty of it is that you can serve both those audiences. And if the host has taken training and they understand how to be in front of the microphone and how to understand the room, they can work their room live and work and remember to call out to the people that are in the virtual space and make them feel like they're part. And there are some strategies and things to do around that we teach and work with our clients, so that it makes it very seamless for them. And it's just, they call in their virtual audience and the virtual audience feels like they're being taken care of. There's a lot of little tips and things that we have. I'll give you just a couple here. For example, so you're talking to your live audience and you've got this virtual audience listening in. Obviously, you have to include them, take some questions from them, and do things like that. But what do you do when you do breakouts? So your your live audience is going to turn to their neighbor and work on an exercise. So you have to have that extra tech person in the virtual space so they can put them into the breakout rooms and then bring them back. You also have to call on them and get them to respond to how was it, what did you gain. You have to take 2 people from there and 2 people from the live. So there's some things like that. And if when we create the run of show, we create those reminders for the host to call that out, so that they make sure that they include both audiences. And then when you go to lunch, what you can do when the in-person audience goes to lunch and they're going to be eating together, then you can you can have guest speakers for your virtual audience
Right.
over the lunchtime. You can send them a $25 gift card that they can use for Grubhub or something to bring them food. There's so many ways to be
Yeah, I
creative
love it.
and make people feel inclusive, that they'll come back and they'll be there and you'll retain that virtual audience. They won't disappear on you.
So Linda,
So
let's play a game, okay?
yeah,
Now,
okay.
okay. So Linda is Standout Stores has contracted Linda to run our the last of our 3 big fulfillment retreats. And so the first one was Get Speaker Ready in Austin. Then we had Get Stage Ready in Vegas. And then we've got Get Business Ready, which is in Cabo, coming up at the last week of March, the first week of April. So what I do basically, this is me, the client, saying, okay, Linda, this is what we want to do. Then what's your next step?
Okay. So well, the first step is to have the conversation with you about really getting around your vision. Like, what's the outcome of the event? What are the clients going to take away? And so then that way we know what kind of location and what kind of extra
Right.
things. Like you might need cameras for them to talk in front of. You might need recordings that you're going to have done, or
Love
if
that.
it's just the business part of it, we might want to bring in speakers who can talk to them about setting up their incorporation. Are they incorporated? Do they have foundational things put in
Right.
place?
So like we want them to walk away in 3 days or 4 days with a business plan, a marketing plan, and more important, the social media plan. The marketing plan, I insist that they add the component of events because
Mhm.
that's where the money is going to come from to fund the rest of your stuff, right? If
Right.
you do it right. And I know that you know how to do it right. So I definitely want you to have that contact with all of our
Yeah.
clients because
Yeah.
they'd be crazy not to use you. So all right. So now
Yeah.
you know what I want
So
them to walk away with. I definitely want it all inclusive because I don't want to worry about lunch and dinner and I just want it
right.
all done.
Right.
The only thing I think they need to pay for is the airplane.
Yep.
And then we incorporate that all inclusive into the rate of the event, right? And you
Yes,
help me
you
do that.
can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a couple different ways of doing it. You can have a flat fee that
Hmm.
covers their room, and obviously the at a inclusive their meals are all covered. So
Right.
you can have a rate that covers their room. It'll cover the meeting space, and usually depending on the location, but most of the inclusives you get a resort credit. And so then that resort credit can be passed on to the guests so they can go get a spa service, or they
Nice.
can, take care, use it in some other way at
Yeah.
the location. So location, you can pick your location, obviously, then you start your marketing and everything like that. But what we want to focus on to make it really experiential is to then work on your program and content delivery so that we can add in some fun excursions or team
Yeah.
building or some things that are going to get them to create that community with the people that are there. Even if you have 10 people, it's really great to do something that helps them to get to know each other and build community, because after the event is over, they're going to still want to be connected. And most of them will sign up to whatever you're offering. So you want them to be able to, already get to know each other because, likes like. And so, hey, are you signing up? I'm signing up. Let's do it together.
Yeah.
And right. And
Yeah. The
so,
community is so important. I think that was the experience of 2022 is that we established a family basically.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And always work from a budget, get a really strong budget put together, so and put everything in that budget so that you can really see if you're need to adjust your pricing or your prices are right. Sometimes depending, now what you're doing for your third one, you said you're doing business,
Mhm.
so there's probably an opportunity to bring in a couple guest speakers
Oh, exactly.
that
Yeah.
can
People who
talk.
know more than me on certain aspects.
Exactly. And they can do that. Let's say you only have 10 people, a small
Hmm.
retreat. And well, what's going to entice a guest speaker to come down for that? And, what's the payout going to be for them? Right.
Right.
So you can, offer to budget in to where you can cover their room and their flight.
Right.
You can also give them the opportunity to make a small offer or an introductory offer.
Oh, that's a
Um,
great idea. Yeah.
and to their services. So if I know if I can get in front of 10 people, the chances are I'm going to put two of them into an event program.
Right. Mhm.
It's worth it for me to be with 10 people for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
And I'm going to build a rapport with those other people in the room. So make sure the key to having guest speakers in small audiences like that, even, even if you've got 50 in the room, the key is to make sure that the guest speaker really fits the need of people in the room, which is why I like my clients all to do an assessment, an event assessment that they send out that's written specifically to guide, like answer those kinds of questions about what the audience wants at the
Right.
event. So then that way you can bring in the right speaker for where they're at. You get when you do an assessment or a survey, um, this is after they've signed up. And so
Right.
you are, seeing who's in the room. When you
Right.
do that, you really know who's in the room and you can meet them much better where they're at.
Yeah.
And so you can bring in a speaker that is going to, really deliver and make it lucrative to the speaker because they get to, have connection with those people.
Well, and that's so good. So in my case, that would be what I call a fulfillment event because that fulfills on the promise of the big package, right?
Mhm.
But I do recognize that as a small business that is growing, and we've got a six-figure goal to hit in 2023. Now we need to add another component to our events, which is called an enrollment event.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, what do you recommend that people do? And guys, I'm not a big company. Where we again, six figures is fine because I'm 2 months away from being 68, and I don't want to work this hard. So we just want to take care of a small amount of you that
So
need
are
our
you so what you have in mind, are you thinking at the end of this is your fulfillment, your three-part fulfillment.
yeah.
At the end of it. So see, this is where people think, well, I'm doing a fulfillment, I'm not doing an enrollment event. I'm just
Okay. Is
fulfilling on
that
the
wrong
promise.
thinking? So, because that
It's,
means I've
yes,
been doing wrong. Okay.
because no, it's not wrong thinking, but think of it this way. You've had 10 people, let's say, with
Hmm.
you for three different events. This is their
Right.
third one.
Right.
They are fulfilling on the package that you sold them,
Right.
right? And part of that package is these three different trips. So
Right.
now they're on that third trip. Where do they go from here, Tony?
We have to. Well, we're creating a next level part two. Lisa,
Right.
help me here. We're working
No,
on
this
it.
is, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to butt in, but
No.
this is a very, very important point. Not only just for in this event space, but in your businesses
Yeah.
overall. We are all transformational. Most of us that are listening to this in some manner are transformational leaders, right?
Right.
And so a lot of times what we do is we create these fabulously, wonderfully impactful healing programs online, whatever, you're teaching, whatever you're doing, right?
The Been
And
to the Mountain events.
exactly. And then we include these events, right? This all ties
Right.
together.
Right.
But we create these wonderful experiences, these great transformations, they get fabulous results, and then that's it,
Right.
right?
So
We don't
I'm
have
shortchanging
another
my
space
clients
for
by
them
not
to
doing
go
it.
to
Yeah.
take it to the next level.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but one thing if anything I've learned, especially this week, we have to grow.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
as we're growing, it's okay to bring everybody else along with us.
Absolutely. And that's the point that I was going to get to is that people think like, oh, I've done my fulfillment and now I'm going to move on to thinking about my next level of what I'm going to do. And you don't think about that pool of people that you've just been with.
Yeah.
Because you think they're done. They've done my thing. We're fulfilled. Not love you. But you don't want to leave them there.
No, I don't.
So,
Yeah, actually,
so
now that I know what they've done and they've created and what their purpose is, I'd like to bring them on as speakers,
that's right.
and yeah,
Right.
or coaches.
So
Yeah.
then that's the next level for them is so map that out. And this is what we would do. We would create that while you were going into that third retreat. That's part of the whole offer conversation is like, okay, now
Yeah.
this group is wrapping up. What's next for them? Let's create something that you can deliver on that's next for them. Sometimes it's even just you guys are finished this. Many of you have this, and this to complete. Many of you have this to complete. And many of you have this to complete. So for the next 3 months or 6 months, we're going to do a little group coaching. It'll keep you guys going. We're going to filter in some other people from our last fulfillment class. And we're going to have a group each month. It's going to be this price reduced down. It's going to be this price. And you guys, I would love for you guys all to get this because it'll keep you going. We're going to keep, Carol, we're going to keep working on your, basic content of your, digital program you're putting together. Dr. Lisa, we're going to continue to work on getting you those stages and TED Talks and things like that you wanted to do and build that arm of your business. Linda, we're going to work on your foundation, your budget, your systems, your team, because that's where your need is at. You can speak now, you can talk, you can go here, you can do that, but your business pieces needs work, whatever. and you meet them, and you can still meet them in a group, and you could do a 3 month, 6 month group following, or you can also add just one-on-one and say, I can take 4 people one-on-one for the next 3 months, and just do one-on-ones each week with them, or twice a month, and you could do things like that, but don't leave them hanging.
Right.
Come up with something, even if it's just a one-on-one consult package that you can give them, that helps them wrap up what they've done for the year, and gets them ready for wherever they're going to go to next. The other thing that you can do that nobody really thinks about, because they think they have to retain it for themselves, but the other thing that you can do is those people that you really, sometimes you don't have anything for somebody other than to offer a one-on-one. So find a joint venture partner who has the next thing that they need, and do a joint venture with them.
There
And
you go, Lisa.
say,
That's what we were thinking of.
and
Yeah.
say, bring
Absolutely.
that, for example, myself, if you've got people that want to do events, let's joint venture that piece, and I'll do this part of it, you do this part of it, and together that client gets served, and they get to execute their event. Just an idea.
Absolutely. And that, if nothing else, I hope that those that are listening to this now, that have hung with us, that are going to listen to it later on the replay, we
That's you,
want
Olivia.
Olivia, I'm going to like personally call Olivia. Like, that's my
She's
girl.
been so wonderful.
That
And you've
that
got great comments. We love watching you.
that's my girl. She's going to help me with LinkedIn like none other, because that's not an area I've played in this iteration of Lisa. But um the joint venturing, right, is so key, but it's key to be strategic with
Mhm.
who you're joint venturing
Absolutely.
with, and make sure that that joint venture partner can really add value to your group,
Yep.
because you've already built a brand with that group,
Yep.
right?
Exactly. Yep.
And we all want to deliver the next thing. My goal is to always see everybody that I work with, everybody that comes through the academy and any of our programs, I want to see them grow. I want to see them expand and impact the world. So joint ventures with someone like Linda and with Tony, I'm just so thankful that you ladies have been brought into my life at this time. We've met each other before, but
Yeah.
it wasn't the right time.
Yeah.
I wasn't where I needed to be.
Yeah.
And both of you astutely, and maybe you realized it, maybe you didn't, but you realized I wasn't where I needed to be in order for it to be beneficial both ways.
Yeah.
Right.
So you have to make sure that that next step that you're taking, don't be offended if someone is like, I'm not sure if you're ready, because maybe you're not, but you're going to find somebody that's very
Yeah.
synergistic with you in the space, in the moment and time and growth that you're in. But joint
Right.
ventures can
100%.
expand you beyond belief. I don't want to have to learn how to do everything, for God's
Right.
sake.
Right.
I
And
don't have time.
it's hard because we don't think, I think we have in our mind that, we got to do it all, we got to make this happen, right? But when you think about the fact of like a joint venture, like I don't do everything in my business. I don't have enough time to do what I do
Oh
anyway.
my God,
But
no.
I don't want to send out the emails and all that. So I have a team that helps me, and I built team over the years. And so same thing, if you're, especially for those of us that are like basically considered solo entrepreneurs or small business
Sure.
entrepreneurs in this space, we don't have huge amount of capital. So what you do is you joint venture with people that, like I joint venture with Jane DeBurr on her assessment package that she has, because she has a company that builds out assessments. I wrap that into the packages that I do for my clients. So I absorb, she has a good deal for me. I absorb that cost and put it into my packages. So when you do an event with us, you're going to get that assessment gift. And then I also joint venture with somebody who does some marketing. So when my clients they're stuck, or we've done a ticket map and we figured out how they're going to market, and they've started it, and they get down the road, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, these people aren't answering, they're not buying, I don't know what to do. Then I call in my marketing joint venture partner, and we have a conversation and we do a strategy session, and it's gold. And I wrap that into the package too. They get 2 of those in the course. So it's of working with us. And if they need more, we can pay for more. But I wrap that into my package because I know they're going to need it at some point. They always do. And so by joint venturing, I've now expanded our services, and we're able to really serve our clients at a higher level than we were 10 years ago. And it makes it great because I can keep my pulse on their event-driven business for the whole year that way, and
Absolutely.
really work with them. So
Linda, I want to ask you a question.
yeah,
All right. This
I
is
know we could be here
especially for
all night.
Tammy,
We
Patty,
could.
Olivia, and our folks that are watching. What has been your most successful event in terms of money earned in 3 days, 4 days, whatever your
Wow.
event was?
Whew. So, oh, that's okay. We have 2. We have one that's was live in person, and that was with a doctor's group, and it was in 2019, just before COVID. And we did about 175 people live, health practitioners live,
Okay.
to learn how to. It was an event that was focused on their business aspects, expanding their business, learning how to use social media to gain more clients, how to become more visible, clinical practice tips and things like that. That was done. We had panels and doctor panels, and we had biohacking companies that came in and talked, and we had a wonderful trade show for them, sponsored booths and things like that. Very interactive. And we loved it because there were so many aspects to the event and so many things going on. So, you had the exhibit hall that got open, and people could go get treatments and, try
Nice.
different equipment and things like that. Plus, then being healthcare practitioners, they got some clinical aspects, and they loved the presentations all about how to use Facebook or social media, because they weren't doing very much of that back then. And that was really fun. And the host of that event sold into a 35K program for health practitioners to bring that all together that they talked about for the 3 days, and work with him for a year to have him put his eyes on their practices and help them scale and build foundation to scale their practices. And so that was a 2.1, just a little over $2 million 3-day event, and it was fabulous.
Oh, I just got goosebumps.
we repeated him again in 21 in COVID, and we did a hybrid where we had 200 people live, virtual, and we had 75 people live, and he still did 1.4 million that weekend.
It's the right formula. It's the formula.
And that was really fantastic. Now, my other one is a client of ours who pre-COVID, about 80 was the most that we seemed to get in a room. She did well. She'd sell 300, 400,000 people into her year-long business coaching program. But when she went virtual in 2020, she hit 750. And when she went virtual in 21, she hit over 1.5. And she's done very well in the virtual space. And
I want to be one of those stories, Linda.
And she probably won't go back live because she's done so well virtually, and able to do that. She probably won't go back live, but a lot of our clients who did well during the pandemic years, they did virtual. They maybe had a retreat or two, and they were 6-figure, 300, 400. Some of them, I'd say 250 to 350, 375 is the average. And then we had those couple one-offs where they really popped it. But the thing that's really nice is that you get to choose how you want to do your events.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to try different kinds, because you will eventually figure out which one is the one that you most enjoy. I had a client who did one retreat and one 3-day last year, and the retreat was fabulous. We had so much fun. Oh my gosh, it was just the best time. And we did like scavenger photo hunt and all kinds of crazy stuff. And then she said, okay, I'm ready. Let's do a 3-day event. And we did the 3-day event. She did okay. She hated it. She hated spending that much time content delivery, content speaker, content delivery, content speaker, offer, too structured for her. And that's what we realized, that it was just too much of a structure and following the formula and everything. She's more free spirit. So she went back to just doing retreats. So now she's doing 2 retreats each year, and people are like, I don't have any space for you. You can sign up for the next retreat, and we're going to have to add a 3rd one this year because they're so popular, and she keeps them at 30, 40 people, and they have so much fun at them. And like you were saying, Lisa, earlier, the experience, how you create the experience. And because each one has a little different flavor and a little bit different excursions, everybody wants to go to all 3.
There you go.
They don't want to miss out on anything. So don't be afraid of events, and don't be afraid to try them. So my gift that I have for everyone is this profitable event guide that we put together. It focuses on the 4 main, I think there's something like 18 different types of events that we talk about. There's summits, there's podcasts, there's summits, podcasts, workshops, webinars, master classes, giveaways. All of those are really an event of some kind, right? But in our world of coaching and high level transformational thought leaders, there's basically 4. There's the retreat style event, the 4 main event driven businesses, main event driving, revenue driving events. I'm getting tired too. There's the in-person event, there's the virtual event, there's the hybrid, and then there's the high-end retreats. And so this guide has all kinds of different, we break down those 4. We give you some tips and some strategies, tons of insight, hoping to just kind of help you glean a little bit about what each of the kinds are, and then which ones might be, the best for you. And then for our VIPs, they can take our assessment and get a free strategy session with me. And I'm telling you guys, Tony will tell you this. We're going on 42 minutes. I love to talk. I'll keep you overkill. Pick my brain. Ask me anything, because I'm first and foremost, I love making money doing events for clients, but I'm also a giver. And I love to see people get the information that they need so they can go and be creative and meet people and give in the world and put their mission and their message out there. And if they choose through the process to work with us, of course, we love it. But I also love to see people that I've had a conversation or 2, and then I get to watch them and they're on stage and they're delivering. And I'm like, oh, it started with that little 90-minute conversation we had. They eventually come back to me because they get tired of doing all the details themselves. But it's really fun. I love it.
Thank you, Linda. And, guys in this room, you're right, Olivia. There's a whole bunch of experience going on here. But every single time we do an event, we learn more. Every single time, every client, you learn more. So in this room right now, you not only have a heck of a team to do your live events, your online events, your streaming events, look at what we got here. I've done everything from the Latin Grammys to to the casting for American Idol in Spanish called Objetivo Fama, to dealing with live events, online events, and you've got this is your 1, 2, 3 punch, guys. You got to use it.
Yeah, and I've done everything from a 10-person retreat in the hills of Tuscany, Italy.
Oh,
phenomenal, high end. I've done small retreats, just where people paid $1,000 to come and they walked away with $1 million in ideas and connections, and the vision to go out and create and be something and do something and
Love
be
it.
there. And I've done, my background is came from corporate and legal, so I've done a lot of events in that area. We ran the Unstoppable Foundation fundraising event for 4 years for Cynthia Cruzy. We worked with the St. Jude Foundation. I've done events for celebrities. I'm here in LA, so I've done events for celebrities. I've played in the Hollywood game. That's a whole another conversation for another time. Total fun, total different. Events over there is very different than events over here
Oh
on
yeah.
the marketing
Yeah.
side.
Yeah,
But
we're getting a taste of that with Easy Way, by
amazing.
the way.
Yeah, it's amazing because I'm able to, like, if you tell me that you want to do an event, well, like when COVID hit, it was like, great, we'll do a wine tour. How are we going to do a wine tour? It's virtual. Linda, you're out of here. You lost your crackers. And we had a winery send everybody 3 little slits of wine, and then the winery that sent it out for us, the guy from the sommelier, he put a GoPro camera on his forehead. He walked through the vineyards, talked about the grapes, held them up to the GoPro, so
I
all of us
love it.
virtual.
Love it. You've done
Awesome.
escape rooms too, virtual escape rooms.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah, we did escape rooms. We did that. We did painting parties. We did drinking parties. We did um,
Right
meditation.
here.
We did comedy improv. We did improv. We did. I mean, there were so many things that we did just in that virtual space, and it was great.
Yeah.
So
Love
You
your
it.
know,
imagination is the only thing that can stop you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I came up through the church and corporate America.
Hmm.
So I've done everything from the small, church retreats to large scale conferences
Yep.
in convention centers. But we started doing virtual events in 2018, 2 years before everything
Hmm.
hit. And so, how do you have a spiritual retreat virtually? Everybody thought I was nuts, but we had amazing transformation in 2.5 days, 1 day, 3 days, whatever it was. They still came away
Hmm.
with that same experience and learned so much. And then now, just like all of us, we understand the power of having an event and then bringing them into your more deeply transformative
Right.
program. There's nothing like it because you get to see them from the very beginning all the way through. You
Mhm.
get to help some of the people that maybe could not afford to do it right away, but they can do that. It's just the most amazing thing for you to do. It's the most natural thing. So between the three of us ladies, we are just like, you know, we're
I
the
think we might have
trio,
done it all.
the three musketeers, man, and we'll
Olivia
change
says
your
we need to
life.
have a mastermind cruise.
There you go.
Yeah. What takes too long? Let's have a mastermind retreat.
Oh, no, that
I'm
was I
down
like.
for that. I'll
You
put that
guys,
together. I'll
we
put
are
that
at the
together.
end of the show, and I wanted to end it off with my two amazing friends, Lisa and Linda. So, you guys, thank you so much for Linda for inspiring me to start the week of kindness, for helping me during the entire passage. Tammy, love you. Look at this. Tammy, we got some plans for you, Tammy. All
Yes.
right. And Olivia, I'm thinking Tender Talks Travel. There you go.
Yes.
I love this girl. Anyway, you
Olivia is
guys,
great. Hmm.
thank you so much for everything. We have pulled together some incredible folks. We have over 60 speakers, and we're so proud of what we've been able to accomplish. If you only knew. But Lisa was a godsend this time, and because she knows so much about this recording streaming stuff, and I was like, oh, I'm kind of old school. I'm used to cameras in front of me, and the TV handles it all, right? And Lisa's like, no, this is the camera. This is who's handling it. This is how we're gonna do it. I'm like, okay, okay, that sounds good.
It wasn't perfect, guys. We tried our best, but I think we delivered a really good experience overall. And
I think
overall, I think we did a great job. And we'll get better. In June,
Yeah.
it's going to be even
The
better.
next one's coming up in June, and the page will be set up. If you guys want to talk, even if you don't feel ready, we've got some time to work with you, so we can create your signature talk. If those of you who already have talked and have your offer ready, then let's talk to our event folks here, because you've got to put events in your marketing plan. There's just no way around it.
Yeah.
This is what you work for, what you work towards.
Yeah.
And you know what, the little wins during the year are what keeps you going.
Yeah.
And the little wins amount to a big win when you have an event. And so that's
Exactly.
how I feel right now.
Exactly. That's why my mission is creating your own stage, because you don't have to start with a big, dive in with a big 3-day event. You don't have to go do a fancy retreat. It just simply means that you have to have a place to get started and expand into. And my client that I was telling you that made that $1.4 million, 5 years ago, the very first event she did was 6 people in a suite at a hotel. And from there, it grew to 156 people virtually at a $1.4 million event. So,
All right, so guys, 6 people. I've already done the 6 people in a hotel room. We're ready for the
Good job.
1.4.
I've done that.
but those are fun,
Remember,
right?
Patty?
But those are fun. Remember,
They
you
are.
get started and you grow. I mean,
Yeah.
the average person out there, you can find 6 to 10 people to pay you $997. That's 10 grand to come and be with you for a couple days in a suite at a hotel or a WeWork place. It doesn't have to be fancy. The point is that you're teaching, you're training, you're giving an experience, you're helping people grow, you're expanding knowledge, you're making some revenue, but you're building your business.
And that's what this is all about. You
But
just
it's
you
all
just said
about
in one sentence why we're even in business. Thank you, guys. Everybody, God bless you. For those of you who have an avatar, I will be going over to Stream World. I'm going into the House of Grooves, and I'm going to do some dancing. For those of you who need an avatar, you need to get one. Go to easywayawards.com, sign up, download the software, and no, you don't need a virtual reality Oculus. This is just a game that we play. But our conference rooms and everything, I will see you at the Golden Gala Awards, February the 11th. Lisa?
Yes. One more thing. One more thing. Linda, thank you so very much again. I
Thank
love
you,
you.
Linda.
I love you. I
Yeah.
love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I'm gonna let you come on down so that we can decompress and you can get ready to go dance. Um
My little monito, that's Spanish for
yes,
avatar. My monito is gonna go dance.
yes. So the one thing I do want to say before we leave, God bless you. I love you so much, Tony.
Thank you.
Thank you for the honor of being able to help you. And I want to also tell everybody or remind everybody that you and I are going to be in Atlantic City.
We're waiting for you guys. You need to
Yes.
spend some time with us. Come
So
on
I
down.
want to show you guys what we're looking at so you can get an idea. And I'm going to put the link
The landing
in the
page.
chat. So this is a VIP day business bootcamp intensive with Tony and I. Okay. And we put this in the chat. The link is going in the chat right now.
So guys, bring your plans, bring your ideas, bring your thoughts, we're going to make sure that this year 2020 goes according to plan. We're offering it for 3 days. So we have the February, you pick a day. You can even spend Valentine's Day with us if you're like me and I don't have a boyfriend and don't have a husband and my kids love me, so they give me flowers. If you're like me, we can spend Valentine's Day at Atlantic City, New Jersey at the Borgata, beautiful Borgata Hotel, and I'm ready for the steakhouse. I tell you, dinner is included on this meal because I'm not letting you go hungry.
There you go. Lunch and dinner, 8 hours with the two of us. That's what that looks like. It's just a $497 deposit. But if you've enjoyed this type of mastermind over virtually, this is what you're going to get from us. You're going to get, we're actually going to work, but we're going to create. Okay. That's what I like to say. We are quantum containers for creation. So we're going to work on your mindset. We're going to work on your heart set. We're going to work on your belief systems. We're going to work on speaking, imposter syndrome, business planning. My motto for 2023 is business grows for me in 2023. So
Ooh, I
that's
like
what
that.
you, right? Business grows for me in 2023.
And we
This
just
is
have to plan it out. You got to plan it out,
you
guys.
have to, because if you
Yeah.
fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Love that. You guys, we'll see you in Atlantic City, February the 13th or the 14th or the 15th. If we get 10 of you in a room, I'm going to go ahead and extend it to 2 days because I want to work with each one of you. This is private time in my suite. So we'd love to have you there. Get a hold of us. You got the link somewhere, Linda, to sign up for that?
Oh,
Lisa?
yep. I put it down. We'll put it out again. Here it is. And you guys will be getting that as well via email.
Yeah.
All right,
And
Tony.
before you head out there, we're going to have about a 3-hour workshop to get you guys ready so that we know what you're trying, what we want to
Yeah.
accomplish, and it's going to get done
Yeah.
in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
Lisa, from the bottom of my heart, como siempre, as always, te amo.
Oh, te
Love you.
amo. Bye,
Bye,
guys.
everyone.
Love you.
Until June.
Bye. Wow. I hope you enjoyed that just as much as I did. Thank you so much for all of that great information. Hey, we're not done yet, so just relax. We're going to continue on with our next speaker in just a few moments.